I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
All right, welcome once again to another edition of Discover New Music. And as we all know, very few, if any, do metal as good as the Swedes, okay? And we all know that Avatar from Gothenburg, Sweden, is one of the main reasons for that, and that is why I'm honored today to have Johannes Eckerström. I feel a little more pressure, Johannes, because talking to someone like yourself in my clunky American accent, I don't want to brutalize your native language, so bear with me do best I can. Did I have a decent start?
I think you did pretty great, actually.
Thank you very much.
It's really, the thing is, even, you know, one thing is we can all learn stuff later in life, and learning language is totally doable. If you're not a kid, to get sounds right, I believe it's, you know, no matter how good we get an academic with our new languages, I think I even heard something about that, you know, nailing vowels. And it's just, and I know there's certain things in English that I'm just going to slip up on forever and ever and ever that I will never learn properly. You know, things will always be gigantic on my first attempt until someone corrects me.
Well, I feel a little better. So good. Now going into this, I will do my best, but thanks for at least taking some of the pressure off. All right. Well, let's talk new music. 10th album from Avatar. We're almost there. I know we're slated. Do we have a exact release date, or are we still looking late 2025?
I have an exact release date, but they didn't tell me if I could tell you yet. Just know that I know it's a date, and it's a beautiful date. It's an excellent date. All the other dates envy that date. But yeah, so which does, you know, pretty late 2025 is accurate.
That's good enough for me. I will take that. Besides, I don't want you to get in any trouble. Number 10, big milestone for any band. Looking back at the Avatar catalog, and, you know, 2 decades now, and just this continued evolution of the band, what stood out with this latest record, number 10, maybe compared to previous works in your mind?
Well, always at this stage of things, when people ask, you know, I think I end up hanging up that question, hanging up the answer on couple of pretty practical things, I think, which means, okay, what was different in the studio, you know, and like, which toys do we get to play with that we hadn't played before? And in this case, there were a lot of musicians that weren't in the band doing cool stuff, because some of the songs, a handful of songs, needed those kind of things. Actual strings, actual choirs, actual brass, and whatnot. So that stands out just because, because of many things, I guess. But it includes that, I guess, we get to be so used to writing for each other.
Right.
But then you come to that point of... but then when you get to write for someone that isn't in the band, you know, it kind of reminds you of what a cool little thing we get to do, what a cool thing it is, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I think one big thing is, because 10, that's a big number. And the biggest challenge for us at this point is to find out, why is this important? Why does, you know, to us? What can make it special to us? What do we feel like we can say or attempt on saying with this one that we haven't done before? And I think a huge part of what it is that makes something like that work is because we are that kind of band that we have committed to never write the same song twice,
right?
And to never look too much in the rearview mirror for where we were at. I mean, Avatar would always be a heavy metal band by heavy metal fans. But that being said, the content of the music and the stylings of the music, I think the only way where we have a chance to be the best we've ever been is to be totally honest to ourselves about where we are at right now, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to, there's, I don't want to pretend that you're 20 years old forever because that's the age we were when the first album came out.
Yeah.
We're not one of those bands. So I think this is a very powerful reflection of the whole album, of where we stand in this very moment. And therefore, as always, becomes the most exciting thing to us that we have ever done. And then in 2 years, we will be so bored with it, we have to do another one and find out why that's important,
Yeah.
But I really think we found that spot, that found the music that we felt we were ready to die for also this time,
I love it. And I think that's the goal no matter what. And again, like you said, even getting bored with it in a couple more years, you still find that next thing to die for. And
we're still going for the next fix, right? And we're still addicted to that. and always, it doesn't feel like the 10th. It doesn't feel like the first either, I guess, but it always feels like there's always something that you mess up that you can try to get right the next time. And there's also a very basic, just the kick we get out of doing this that feels, it doesn't get old to us.
Yeah. I want to touch back on something you said there a little bit ago, writing for someone else. And, obviously you guys, you've been together for so long and you learn each other. You play this back and forth. It's this dance that you have with the rest of the band, but now you bring in a new partner. So I'm interested. Did you find maybe something, maybe writing a violin solo or maybe writing this horn section? Was there one that maybe was a little more challenging than the others that you really had to push yourself writing for?
No, on the upside. So when you do those kind of things, it's again the novelty of it makes it that all that becomes kind of fun and easy and exciting, more easily. Than when we are. It's a weird polyamorous kind of wedding marriage we're in with the band, right?
Yeah.
But it's to spice things up in the bedroom between the five of us at the core of things. So usually there is more, different levels of challenges. But I think maybe that's also a thing that keeps it very vital to the band, that there is no clear main songwriter. There are three of us that start songs and five of us that end the songs, so to speak. And that is very chaotic. That ends up meaning different things in different phases of different band members' lives. So I think, so it can always, maybe someone has to carry slightly more of a burden at any given point than the other. But that ebbs and flows a lot. There's a new challenge each and every time to find that weird spot between all of us that is actual Avatar. But then when we reach a point like, hey, would it be cool with a trumpet here? And everybody's like, yeah, that's super cool. Let's have a trumpet. And that's relatively easy, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting. It is a really cool take, and I'm glad we got to dive into that. Also, I love that we made it sound like an erotic situation, you and the band, and bringing someone else, spicing up the love life. I love it.
Being in a band is that's I guess that's the only thing that's left to do. Really, we do everything else together, and really because that is trying to understand what it takes to stay a band for as long as we have and wanting to continue to be a band for as long as we do. It's about family. We are friends and we become family over the years, but you're also, being artists together, being business partners together, being everything at once, those challenges when people want us, spouses opening a business together is, okay, well, if you get that right, it's the best thing ever for everyone involved, I'm sure, but for a lot of people, it doesn't work out like that, and I think there's similar mechanisms. So I think making jokes about what goes on in the bedroom is kind of emphasize that. Again, that's all we got left.
That's right. Well, I'm happy we found it because now here we are, 10th album on the way from Avatar. If you're just joining us, we're at this next big step, which we've already seen big steps from the band, and someone who's been there along the way, at least for the last last three, and now this one, your producer, which is Jay Rustin, and A hell of a resume, by the way. I mean, obviously you guys are familiar not only with Avatar, but Anthrax and Steel Panther, and I think Uriah Heep was in there. Tell us about that working relationship and how it works for you guys in getting that final sound that you're looking for, and keeping with Jay and continuing that partnership.
I think the dialogue that we can have with him is probably, one of the big reasons, right? Yeah, because it's been a few, and we haven't kept the other ones around for this long before, to no fault of prior producers. We just thought it was absolutely necessary to keep that piece of the puzzle more loose, to bring in some fresh blood. But I think because of I'm trying to. Sorry, I'm looking. This is great radio. Me stalling on the words. Like
You're all right.
The stutter. I think there's one thing. Yeah, there's total accountability, because as a producer and as a modern producer, right?
Yeah.
You wear many hats. You are usually the engineer and the producer, and from a psychological standpoint, you have to play multiple roles in the studio that maybe would have been played by 3 people in the past. And Jay juggles those roles excellently. But one thing he is not is a songwriter.
Right.
And that's the one thing we have too many of in Avatar anyway. So it's about more helping us structure and weed out and using the outside ears of Jay to kind of help us maybe find a common voice within all those ideas. That's a big part of it. And also, I think he has, because of all the work he had to do, maybe especially before he, now he's a name, and now he's been kind of pigeonholed into doing bands like us. But as an engineer, especially, and a mixer, he has done genre-wise and styles of recordings has been so vastly different, which means that there are very few things that seem impossible to him.
Right.
So it's easy to fit in. I want to do trumpets. Yeah, no problem. For instance, in this case.
Right.
Or whatever we've been wanting to do. It's all of it is very doable as long as the ideas that lead you down that path make sense. So it's easy to have that kind of fun with him. And then fundamentally, we share a lot of values in music and outside of music. He rescues dogs and eats tofu and is a cool cat like that, and that fits with us. And I also think in terms of taste and experiences in music, that there is a Venn diagram with a lot of overlap between us and him, but not complete overlap.
Right.
Which means that he also brings ideas from elsewhere and can sometimes be challenged to where our reference points are. But there's a lot that we all get, so there's a common language that grows out of that through the years.
Right.
But just the right amount of friction and just the right amount of agreement, and also because I guess through the years I've come to realize about myself that I'm not the engineer type. The tech of the studio. I'm never drawn to really figuring that all out by myself. If people would see the rig that I use when I write music, it's not a rig, it's a schmig, as in rig schmig, who cares? So that's not me, for instance.
Yeah, right.
I still need to work with someone whose thing that is, and we need to find a common language. And I think Jay's ability to help explain why do these guitars sound angrier than those? What is this? It's not just a volume. What's going on here? And explain what happens in the mid range as to the top end of the sound spectrum, and blah, 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 blah. And like, okay, I learned something. But also that the other way around, that he you can tell, how a dog probably feels when a butterfly lands on its nose. Can you make the symbols more like that? And that he can decipher that kind of ignorant layman artist talk.
Right.
Into something practical, and we can go down that path together, figure things out along the way. That's pretty great. Yeah. No, we keep working together for a reason.
Right. And I just, it was such a perfect way to put it, the Venn diagram and bringing all these pieces together with, like you said, your outside own influences, but then finding that common ground, which obviously,
because Jay likes yacht rock and we like music, so
hard to beat good yacht rock. I tell you what, when you're lounging in a Hawaiian shirt, which I know you guys are fans of, maybe we'll see some more of that. I know you can only give away so much on this. We've already had a little taste of the new album. We'll hear a release date sooner than later. Could you tell us, do you have a favorite track on the record? Is that something you could give away without giving away too much on this?
I have, no, I don't have a favorite track, but again, getting to do things as a musician, as a songwriter that we haven't done yet. And I've done a bit of piano playing in the past, right? But this time I get to do a bit more piano playing, and I get to play piano when there are drums going, which kind of started happening during a sound check, or throughout a couple of sound checks in the touring of the last year, where like working on ideas, and then John comes up on stage for the next section of what the sound check was actually supposed to be about, starts playing along, and it's that moment like oh, drums, I'm Elton John, and we kind of finished up. And so there's some of that that hasn't happened before, and I get a kick out of that. But to say that that's my favorite song for that reason, there's a lot of things happening that I'm excited about. I do feel right now that this is the best I've ever sounded as a singer on what we have done. My best singing. So who knows? Maybe it peaks here and I will be awful on the next one. But for now, I think the songs lend itself to give myself a lot of chances to try a bunch of little different things. For instance, because a lot of it to make metal sound metal, one sure way of doing it is, of course, like give it gas, push your range, be loud, be powerful, belt it, scream it, and all that. And that's great. It hit me that, for instance, I always go back to studying Judas Priest, right? And Halford, metal god, falsetto, yes, absolutely, and the belting and the pushing and to find that that's where the heavy metal is at. But then you also realize with the right degree of storytelling and just being in the pocket, how you can have so much drive, and I don't know what to call it, just snap. I don't know which adjective to put on it, but the verses are breaking the law. Yeah, it's in a very comfortable range for Mr. Halford, right? The way it's sung. But still there's something to it, just because where the emphasis lies in the word, where it's said rhythmically and in the pocket with the rhythm section and all that, which makes it so much more, has so way more teeth than it could have had in other people's hands. And that is just because that's such a well-known song from back in the day. He still does it, and I wanted to nail things like that. There's a lot of things I wanted to nail on this one that I hadn't done before, and just find myself as a singer maybe in slightly different spaces from time to time than what I've been on songs in the past. And there's a lot of that, and spread over multiple parts, over multiple songs. So it's also hard therefore to say that's, is a favorite because of it. But there are a lot of favorite moments. Let's put it like that.
I love that. And I tell you what, too, and just in throughout this conversation, the excitement from you I can pick up as far as where this has pushed the band all in the right direction. And even hearing you say vocally your best performance, I think we're going to be in for such a treat, and we can't wait to hear it when you finally release it come late 2025. Tentative, we know it's there. We just got to have the official drop. Well, now that we got the new album out there, and I know people are just salivating at this point, I had one final question before we get to some quick Swedish either ors, if you will. This doesn't have to do with the album, but last time we chatted, we got into a little conversation about the makeup routine. And for me, and I'm not being glib when I'm saying this, but your makeup, your performance makeup, I think is basically iconic now in the rock and for sure metal world. You see like the outline, kind of like the Joker or Alice Cooper. Everyone knows, all right, this is, Johannes's makeup. Is there any chance, and I know we've seen it slowly, little changes here and there, is there ever maybe in the Avatar lore, the Avatar journey, something wildly different? Has there ever been any talk, or is that kind of where we'll see you settle in?
I think I don't have a real answer because I don't know, because I don't want to set anything in stone about it. Because ultimately it all grew. The fact that it happened to begin with was just that it made sense at the time, and it continues to make sense.
Yeah.
And we have to just be honest with ourselves and the music to make sure each and every time that it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
At this point, having done it for a pretty long time now, I don't see how it would stop making sense.
Right.
In the setting of what Avatar is, because we're proving to ourselves it can be so many different things. And also because I think that's part of being a band, and the art form of being of a band, right? That most importantly, you live in the now and create whatever makes the most sense now. But there's still, it doesn't hurt to think ahead a little over. Also certainly a past to respect and a legacy to, like, if why name it Avatar each and every time otherwise, if what we have done up until this point doesn't matter, right?
Right.
And I think there's a certain respect that comes with that, respect for the audience and for that shared experience, because we talk about how, well, the live show is 50% us, 50% the crowd, and if we really mean that and don't just want to blow smoke up people's various orifices, then that must mean that there's also a mutual respect and kind of attentiveness to what we are here doing together.
Right, right.
Which is, as simple as to say that with new songs, you come up with new stuff to do on stage and you try to innovate and grow what we do there. But maybe forever and ever and ever, when we play Blood Angel, I'll wear a red coat.
Yeah.
Because, and to find the balance between that, the traditions and the next thing.
Yeah.
And now Avatar has a legacy and a tradition where it's a metal circus, not circus metal, big difference.
Big difference.
But it's a metal circus. And I don't see any reason why it would stop being, because it hasn't. Also, I think because of this, it keep proving to ourselves that we keep on being able to write whatever songs we feel are the most appropriate songs to make at every time.
Right.
So it's yet to hold us back.
Right.
So like if there again, so it still makes sense. I don't see any reason to change it. But at the end of the day, we also for the respect of the people who are digging what we do, we have to be honest with ourselves first.
I love
that's
it.
our best chance at being the best we can be. So.
Great answer. Well, again, I'm always excited to see what's in there, but even if you don't change a damn thing, we're still going to love it, especially with this new record. Again, out 2025. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. You're such a music fan, and it comes through, and it's just a lot of fun to dig into that Avatar world. Before we go, though, now we're going to dig into a little Swedish world, if you will. I did my best to find. Now, this is just quick, rapid fire. You go with your initial gut answer, and we'll learn a little bit more. So let's start simple. Music style, Swedish version. Ace of Base or the Cardigans?
The real answer is the Cardigans.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like that. Good answer. Both good. Okay, what about this? Pickled herring.
It's a lot of kitsch, so and I'm always partial to kitsch, but the Cardigans is way better at the end of the day.
Pickled herring or gravlax?
Well, I've been vegan for the past 10 years, and my pickling, but these are flavors I still need in my life.
Okay.
And the pickled eggplant has been a way more successful experiments than the Grav carrots. That's been doing pretty well too. You'd be surprised, but yeah, pickling things in general in Swedish style with the kind of mustard thing you do with it and stuff. I do a lot of that anyway.
Oh.
So I picked that.
I like that. And you know what? Pickled cucumber. I'm going to have to give that a shot. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
What about Saab or Volvo?
Saab. I get more nostalgia. Well, because Volvo's still around, but it's also it's just skin and bones what's left of it to be called Swedish at this point.
Yeah.
And Saab, they still do the planes, right? But the classic Saab cars. Someone in my neighborhood has a very well preserved, what's it called, a maroon Saab 900 turbo. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool, and kept it in pristine shape,
Very nice.
Because you got your sports cars and muscle cars and those badass things when people take care of those. But there's something about those time markers when you have pristine shapes of the classics because normal people drove it. The aesthetic of that. It's a favorite. Saab 900.
Great answer. Last one. This is gonna be Bylar. Algrens Bylar or Gottenbladet. Was I even close on those?
Ahlgrens bilar, I understand. What was the other one?
Gottenblandet? Salt.
Gott och blandat. Ja, gott och blandat.
Gott och blandat. There we go.
And for aforementioned reason about what kind of food we eat nowadays in the band, I go with gott och blandat because they are actually vegan by accident.
Well, there you go.
Ahlgrens bilar, Sweden's most sold car. It's a classic, but it's also done by Pigbone.
Oh, okay. All right. Good to know. And thank you for the pronunciation. I was very, very far off, but overall we did pretty good. All right, last one.
We always appreciate the effort. Last one.
Last one, and this is my American one, and I think that you could probably answer this no problem. Would you rather take a roundhouse 100% power kick from Chuck Norris or a 50% punch power from Mike Tyson?
Well, one of them fought for real for a long time, and another of them is very, very entertaining, but it's mostly an internet meme, and also, I think, smaller.
So you're going to go Chuck Norris on that one?
Yeah, I'd rather take Chuck Norris. and I'm saying this is all 2025, right?
Yes, right now.
Yeah,
yes.
So and one of them was recently in hard training for a last match, which That's and right. one of them I don't know how his hips are doing. So, so I'd rather be kicked by Norris than punched by Tyson.
I love it. Great answers all the way around. Thank you for humoring me. More importantly, Johannes, thank you for talking new music. Avatar, out soon, 2025. It's always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I'll see you when I see you.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Brock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.